This right here, yeah, is most of the first clarinet. I think one of the first things you said, oh, hey, it looks like an oboe player did it. Because it may or may not look like an oboe player made this third G sharp.
Yes.
It looks very much like a side octave on an oboe key. We know how to make musical instruments, and so we thought, yeah, we can make a clarinet. And we did. We made actually, I think, 2 versions of a clarinet before we ever brought in anyone on the outside world for an opinion. But after we had proved to ourselves that we could make a clarinet, the next goal is, okay, can we make a clarinet that the clarinet world will like? The mechanism down here on the E flat is just light years better than versions you've seen in the past.
Yes.
So we moved
There's
the
no
lug.
more slippage.
No slippage, it's really stable. The lug is perpendicular to the arm that's moving it. It feels really good. We know what we like, but we're not the clarinet community. Through some, various contacts and asking around, we fortunately met Melanie Wong, who's just been an invaluable resource in advising us.
We did so much with the design, and we took so many learnings from not only my own clarinet repair history, but things I had learned from my teachers, and we were able to put that into the Fox clarinet, but also with all these really modern and really intelligent and creative solutions that Sarah and the team at Fox really brought. Some were oboe inspired, some bassoon inspired, and some were really just off the wall ways we tried to solve problems that have been issues of the clarinet for as long as clarinets have been around.
And what I find very cool about clarinet players is that, the color could be this way or that way. It could be blue, orange, red, purple, whatever the color is. There's a lot of acceptable, good sounds in clarinet worlds. They talk about clarity of sound. They talk about dynamic range. They talk about bloom on the sound, not just how loud it gets, but how it's blossoming or opening or ringing as it's projecting.
It was really important to us to have an instrument that played a lot better in tune than the average clarinets on the market. We wanted a clarinet that was still very flexible. We didn't want something so rigid, because you can get a very rigid clarinet to play very green on the tuner. But what artists have found with clarinets like that is that they don't blend well necessarily, and they just don't feel right, even if the tuner is showing you green. Also, how often is everyone around you playing green to the tuner, right? So you actually do really need to build in that flexibility.
I started working on a clarinet for Fox products in 2020 when COVID happened, and nobody knew what the world was going to look like, and our owner very rightly said, diversification is the best way to strengthen your company. We handle grenadilla really well, we make keys really well. What else can you do with those skill sets?
Carry him.
Come on, buddy. You're such a lazy dog. I want to come back as this dog. That's what I want to be. Chuck, I'm not carrying you anymore. You're too...
Just put him down.
He's the king of the woods, that dog.
So what's going on with the clarinets?
We think we're about there. We're working on the first 100. They're taking it up to Chicago in December, so we're excited about that. I knew when we turned it loose on these guys that they'd be able to do it. And it's funny because we thought we were ready to go about a year ago, and then just like these guys would do, they wanted to beat it up a little bit more, and they're doing the same thing they did in double reed, and if they can do it in double reed, they can do it in clarinet for sure. So it's kind of fun seeing them all work on something different, and then we're around a whole different group of people, and it's great.
What's so exciting about getting into the clarinet market is just an opportunity to serve a different set of customers. Like our dealer partners, we get to further ingrain ourselves with them, but the end user musician, we feel like we can really bring something special and of great value.
The number of players needing instruments is orders of magnitude larger than the double reed community. The number of manufacturers are kind of similar.
Right before we did the clarinet, we were talking as a family, is this what we want to do? Because this is a 5-year program to get this clarinet going.
It's definitely a point of pride to be able to pull this off internally. with the team we have, and we're in a world of outsourcing, we're wrapping our arms around just as much as humanly possible here.
The confidence in the people we have around us to not let us step on our toes, you know. We're not going to go to market with a bad clarinet. We just won't go to market if we can't make a good clarinet.
Watching the thing unfold was fascinating because we went about it the right way. We had market studies done, we were involved with focus groups. It's all very thorough and detail-oriented, and thankfully we have a great amount of support here that we can rely on.
The way we approach every other instrument in the building, we start at the most base level, and we're combining all of the key components here on site, soldering the pieces together, utilizing castings and sheet stock, ground stock, and just assembling it all here in the South Whitley location.
My name is David Harris. I'm an engineer here at Fox Products. I'm also a clarinet player, so it's been very exciting to be involved in the development of this instrument. We're starting in the body shop where we have clarinet joints that have been aged for some time. I'm holding a bell right now.
It comes to us in a stock form. We put a center hole in it, and then we put it here and take it down to the diameter it's supposed to be at. Then after we get that done, it has to age for another year before it can actually be made into the clarinet bell.
This is the joint room where our instrument components that are wood will rest in between machining operations. On the other side of the body shop, we're about to tone hole one of our clarinet lower joints. Here we're doing it on a CNC mill, where we have about 15 unique tools loaded for this operation. Some of them we've custom designed just for clarinets. I'm back here in key mounting where we assemble all of our key components with silver solder. I'm here with Tara, and we've been working together a lot on this, haven't we? Which is nice, doing it all in-house. Whenever we find something that isn't really easy or possible to make in the real world, I can go and chat with a key mounter or vice versa, and then we can work on a solution together.
Soldering alone is a skill. It takes a lot of steady hand and patience and has to be pretty.
This is more than a mechanical arm. It's a piece of art at the end of the day.
Everything is going to be seen on the horn, so you want to make sure that every piece that you're putting together is visually pleasing.
We are in the clarinet finishing department where we do all the final touches and final assembly on our instruments. Some of our craftspeople here putting things like corks on keys and on bodies, key fitting, putting the key between posts, making sure it has the right amount of side-to-side play on it, as well as padding, checking the seal on the pads, making sure key heights are correct, all the finishing touches here. We're in the finishing playtesting room where we playtest every instrument before it goes out. The person who playtests it kind of has to give the final seal of approval whether or not it's okay to send out to our customers.
I don't think any of us would be here sitting like we are without Dominic DeVito's input in this company. Dominic was absolutely marvelous guy. He was a clarinetist. For the first year, it was like taking information through a fire hose. I'd go in and I'd sit there for an hour and Dominic would just pound information into me. And then we found out Dominic had an illness that was going to take him from us. But Dominic has been really kind of a inspiration for us.
Everything I know about instrument making, Dominic taught me. Like the fundamentals that I know all come from him. The way we approach all of mechanical setup in oboe and bassoon, in now clarinet world, all that comes from him, and he was so good at it, and he was such a mentor to me. That stamp on Fox Products is just like the biggest thing to me personally and to us as a company. And Dominic was a clarinet player. We need to pick a first serial number because one is inaccurate anyway. We can't make serial number 1 because we've made what feels like 5,000 clarinets so far. We have made so many clarinets in the process of developing these clarinets. So Dom's birthday is April 9th, 1946, and so the first serial number is 4946. And that serial number is going to Sue DeVito, who is Dominic's widow and a dear friend, and I'm just thrilled.
The Fox clarinet, as I've tried it and had some students try it, I can see things that were important to Dominic: intonation, key work, consistency of sound, beautiful low register, easy high register that's in tune. One of my students I had last night, he's a sophomore, and he's fairly talented. And so I said, "Oh, play your chromatic scale all the way up." And he went up into high F and G and F sharp, and he said, "This comes out so easy," and it was in tune.
Primary customer is like the person who's going to play the clarinet. That is the person we're most concerned about. But right after that is the repair technician and the band director, like, and the parents. So how do we make an instrument that makes everybody's life easier?
We thought a lot about which areas of the clarinet needed to stay the same and needed to be traditional and which ones didn't.
When we design anything, whether it's a new product or if it's, a feature on another product, you just get to make new parts, do whatever you want to do. Spatula shape is something that, as a designer, like, you have some leeway, right? And so I tried to have fun with it, but also, you have some leeway. This is like my favorite feature. I don't even know if I told you about this. This was sort of a late add-on. We put a few extra pockets in the body, like, you can check it out. Every round spring on the Fox clarinet is disengageable without taking the key off. So you can take every spring out.
Springs have a tendency to find a way to pop themselves out. That means a player can't do it themselves. They're in a pressure situation. Okay, so something that's really common is that your B will be adjusted how you want, right? But then all of a sudden you'll have this random gap between your low F sharp and the crow's foot. And so that's where you can just suddenly now get rid of that without affecting anything else by just turning the screw in so that you don't have an annoying gap or sometimes a very noisy gap between them.
You can definitely feel the excitement growing, especially as we start to get orders in, start to feel like the excitement on the feedback.
Universally, everyone has been so impressed with the instrument and what we've been able to do. The artists who have gone through a few iterations or seen a couple of different models just can't believe the progress that a manufacturer was able to make, and that's been one of the things that's so impressive about Fox is they really take any criticism or any comments to heart, and they study it and they figure it out, and then they come back with lots of different solutions.
You need to make an instrument that sounds good and the player accepts and is in tune. Ticket for entry, be in tune. But where we are so good and well loved by the people who love Fox oboes and Fox bassoons is mechanically, it's the physical object that is the instrument. It's robust, it's not gonna break down, it is repairable, it stays in adjustment. This is where we really attempt to plant our flag.
I mean, it's a point of pride being here in South Whitley and being on the Fox family farm and all the history that's here, super deep roots in this location.
We've done some things in here that just haven't been done. Really proud of some of the designs, the execution, but mostly the team of them working together has been phenomenal.